Hey everybody, so we're out here at camp getting ready. We just finished up Christmas Mountain yesterday. Today we're going to be going to the actual Big Bend Park.
Yeah.
We're going to be going hitting up oh my god. We're going to be going and hitting up Black Gap Road for the Badge of Honor. That's the most important thing on our agenda for today. We're also going to go ahead and see if we can do Old Ore Road, and then also pick up a few other trails. One right down near the border that just kind of goes along the border. It's supposed to be really beautiful, right next to the mountains. Supposed to be pretty awesome. So you guys are going to come along and join us, and we'll see what we can get ourselves into today.
Oh yeah.
Driving to the park is beautiful, just like all the other scenery that we've showed you so far, but we camped up north of the park and had to come down towards Terlingua to be able to enter. We came in through the Maverick Junction entrance station. There are multiple entrances to the park, and one of the things that we weren't aware of is that there is a fee to pay to get in. It's a $30 fee. It covers you for 7 days. If you're active duty military or active duty military dependent, then you do get free entry into the park. Like I said, we entered through the Terlingua entrance, and then here we are pulling into the visitor center. It's the main visitor center of the park. It's called Panther Junction. This is where we all stop to be able to disconnect sway bars, air down if we needed to air down. Primarily, we stopped so that I could go in here and be able to have a chat with some of the rangers to be able to find out if there were any road closures that we may have to contend with, because at different points of the year, for one reason or another, there may be something that's closed. Just wanted to go over game plan with the ranger and be able to say, hey, this is what we're planning on doing. These are the trails we're planning on hitting. Do you think that it's possible for us to make it in the time that we have allotted? The ranger said she probably wouldn't do everything that we're about to tell you we're going to do, but as you'll find out, we don't listen very well, so we went ahead and did some extra things anyways.
Alright, so today's plan, what we're going to do, right now we're up here at the Panther Junction Visitor Center. We're going to continue down 385 here until we get over to the cutoff to hit Nugent Mountain. We're going to come down, follow the trail, come down Glen Spring Road, come down here, and once we get down Glen Spring about halfway is where we'll break off and go on to Black Gap Road. We're going to follow Black Gap down here, and then we're going to come across, go past the Mariscal Mine, and we're going to make our way over to the River Road East by way of this little trail right here. And then we're going to follow River Road East up to Hot Springs, come past it, hit 385 here again, and then we're going to come over to the Rio Grande Overlook and hit the Rio Grande Valley, or the Rio Grande Village, I'm sorry, be able to see all the stuff that's out here. And then after that, it's going to be kind of a game time decision to see whether or not we're going to make our way up Old Ore Road, or if we've got enough time to be able to manage that.
Trying to use the paper map, which it's a really great map. We don't have any issues once we knew where we were going. However, my recommendation, what we found that we've started using, is Gaia GPS. We'll put a link to that down in the description. You're able to download GPX files, into Gaia Maps, then use those to be able to navigate to wherever you're going on the trails. There are GPX files available all over the place to just tons and tons and tons of different trails, different off-road parks and things like that. I use Trails Off-Road or All Trails to be able to download those GPX files. That's part of the reason why we're leading the pack here, going down Black Gap and getting to Black Gap, is because I'm the only one that had these available. A lot of people didn't know about these, but it came in very, very handy because it works just the same as using Google Maps, basically. It shows you where your location is. It shows you where the trail is. You know, it doesn't tell you turn left or turn right, but you're able to zoom in far enough on the map that you can actually see where the turns are that you're supposed to go to. So it was actually pretty neat being able to have that access where everybody else was just kind of following along. There are signs on the trails, but they're not necessarily telling you, hey, this is where you are. It's kind of telling you this is where you might be headed towards. So here we are pulling up to Black Gap Trail. So there are multiple entrances to Black Gap Trail. You've got the northern entrance and the southern entrance. Basically, we came through the northern entrance. So the trail is going to be a little bit different depending on which direction you're going. Coming in through the north, the first thing you're going to do is go down that hill that we just hit. And then you're going to come to this kind of a mud hole area. So we wanted to make sure that everybody was in 4-low to go through this. We didn't want to risk anybody getting stuck because we didn't really know how deep the mud was. We didn't know how bad it was going to be. It's a pretty tight squeeze through here. The one thing that I will suggest is making sure that if you have a larger group of Jeeps like we did, making sure that everybody is going through and pulling far enough forward to allow room for the other Jeeps to make it through. That way you don't have any of the Jeeps that are having to actually stop in the mud. You want to be able just to get into the mud, be able to clear through it, and go through it. So there aren't very many obstacles on Black Gap Road. The first real obstacle, obviously, if you're coming from the way we did, is being able to make it through that mud, but it's really not bad. There are multiple vehicles that will go through this other than just Jeeps. We see some trucks on the trail. I mean, there are a lot of people that come down Black Gap Road, so more than anything, it's just very scenic. It's very beautiful. There is one bigger obstacle that we'll come to later on. Depending on, once again, which way you're taking the trail, the obstacle is a little bit more challenging. Turns out the direction that we're going is a little bit more challenging because you actually have to climb up the obstacle as opposed to just letting gravity do the work and be able to come down it. But we'll see that here in a little bit. while there aren't a whole lot of obstacles on this trail, there are a few areas to watch out for. You definitely don't want to go very fast down through here because it is the only unmaintained road or trail that's in Big Bend. What we're going over here, it's really kind of hard to see in the video. Video never really does it justice, but there's just kind of a big rock sticking up here, and we have a few stock Jeeps that are coming through. So we just wanted to make sure that nobody was going to catch a diff on this rock that was hanging up here. Just make sure that everybody's able to make it over safely, because it is very, very remote out here. That's one of the big things about this being a badge of honor trail, is just the remoteness of it. It's not that it's overly difficult. It's just that I guess Jeep, and looking at this area, was like, you know, the badge of honor system is all about getting people out and seeing places they normally wouldn't see. And Big Bend National Park, and unless you're going specifically for the park, there's really no reason to be in the area and see it. So it's definitely a whole lot of fun out here. A lot of little things to look out for. And now it's time for the one main obstacle here on Black Gap Road. Like I said, it's an 8.5 mile long trail. Nothing really difficult here. This was the second and last time that we used 4 low. It's a pretty big step up here, but you'll find a lot of people that don't have fully capable rigs will come through and they'll stack up some rocks to be able to make this up, or down, depending on which direction you're going here. Here's Jeff spotting for everybody, making sure that nobody got hung up on the wall to the right. It is a pretty tight squeeze coming through here, but once you make it up it's, you know, smooth sailing from here on out. It's just pop out of 4 low, go back into 4 high, and be able to run the rest of the trail. So after we get everybody up this obstacle safely here, we come around the corner and we see a few guys. We came upon a group that was actually traveling Black Gap Road in the opposite direction of us, so they're going to be getting ready to go down the obstacle that we just came up. So people that are prepared for the trail, that know kind of what the capability of their equipment is, it kind of will dictate which direction you're going to take Black Gap. We do see a couple of Jeeps here. We stopped and talked to these guys, and they were pretty disappointed because they had one other guy that was supposed to bring his Jeep out, but it broke down just before they made the trip. So he was pretty sad that he wasn't able to bring his Jeep out, but he just jumped in the truck with somebody else and came out and enjoyed the trail. So like I said earlier, Gaia GPS was very important for us on this trip. While there aren't a lot of offshoots and other little trails and things that you can take, there are definitely a few little areas that look like they could be somewhere that you should go, but they're not. There are different primitive campsites that are scattered throughout the park, so you're able to stop off in those and be able to camp if you pay for those. They're called the backcountry campsites. Basically, you just pay your fee, and then they have lock boxes to be able to keep bears out of your stuff and all that kind of things. There are quite a few dried up creek beds and river beds as you're coming through the park. We didn't encounter any of them that had any water in them. They were all dry, but the rangers did tell us that whenever they'll get a good rain come through, that it's definitely some flooding is possible. Flash flooding can be a real thing out here, so that's just something to keep in mind. Thank you guys very much for joining us on our very first Badge of Honor trail. Definitely look forward to doing more of these and having you along on the journey with us. Please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get alerted for all the other cool things that we're going to do.